What is up, guys? Better Something here, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about the Half-Life 2 VR mod. I haven't played Half-Life 2 since it released on Orange Box for the Xbox 360 back in 2007. It's over 15 years ago, and I mean, really, I feel aged, but when I first started this game, I forgot that the G-Man talked to you, and I was absolutely freaked out when this sequence took place, because I didn't expect him to just pop up in front of me. Now, after this sequence, you are on the City 17 train, coming in as an arrival, and with that, just given the respective scale of the train and, you know, VR, it really did feel like I was there and I understood and felt the game more. Granted, that's going to be most games in virtual reality. However, I feel like this was on par with Half-Life Alyx. And as you guys know, if you've played Half-Life Alyx, that game is amazing. And this right here makes me feel like, although I don't have the graphic fidelity of Half-Life Alyx, it still feels real enough that it is essentially an entire new game. It's like playing Skyrim in VR. It is a massively different experience. Even if you've played the game once before, twice before, really understanding the scale of the world that you're playing in just never ceases to amaze me. And getting off this train, that is what I felt. And going around, I definitely had a little bit of fun with the guards, and eventually made it to a point where I was entering City 17 after talking to Barney. Now, when I entered City 17, since this is a sequel essentially to Half-Life Alyx and the Citadel is completely built, the scale of the Citadel just threw me off tremendously. The feel of being a citizen in a quarantine zone that you weren't necessarily hiding in the shadows from for the beginning of this game, unlike in Half-Life Alyx, this really gave you the sense of distress in the characters that you spoke to, like you were actually a part of their world. Now, let's talk about the first action sequence for Half-Life 2. We enter a resistance building that we don't necessarily know is a resistance building, but the civil protection is now chasing us. They have raided the building and they're trying to round up everybody and pretty much do more or less a check. So for this, we are trying to get away, and while I was doing this, I must say, I felt like at some point in time, anything could happen to me as a person. I didn't think I was playing a game. It felt really real, and overall, probably one of the best experiences I've had in VR since I played Half-Life Alyx. And when we get to this trap sequence, I thought I either messed up or something, but it really felt like I was about to experience danger if I was captured.
No, you don't. Dr. Freeman, I presume.
So after we're saved by Alyx, she brings us to see Dr. Kleiner, and we obtain our HEV suit.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
My suit? Oh, my suit! I just want to take a quick moment here to really appreciate the mod dev team. The UI on the gloves, I think, was the best possible thing you could have done when it came to health and the way that it is visualized. in this mod. Chef's kiss for whoever made that decision. Absolutely amazing. Now, we're going to go ahead and get in the teleporter, but I will say my thalassophobia was not it. I was not having it after getting in this teleporter for not playing forever. I forgot what happened in this teleporter.
I will do my best. It's Lamar. Oh, Lamar, come on, man. What the heck? And now his pet's gone.
He's coming through, Dad.
What's going on?
I'm not sure. It seems to be some kind of interference.
Gordon, face what? You get you out of there.
Something is drawing him away.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you? How did you get in here?
Just lost Gordon. What's going on?
I wish I knew. I'm encountering unexpected interference.
Don't worry, Gordon.
There he is. Oh, we're losing him again.
The man I saw. I'm all but certain it was Gordon Freeman.
Damn right. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh no. Yo, what the heck was that, homie?
He didn't come through.
Then where is he?
Behind you.
So the first weapon that you get is a crowbar, and with the crowbar, don't expect it to be like it was built from the ground up where, you know, you have to swing it with such a force that it won't register if you don't swing it with that much force. This is similar to Skyrim VR, where you can just swing your sword as fast as you want, and every time it makes contact with something, it's doing that full damage. So definitely is one of those things that are a little unrealistic. However, it is understandable why it is that way. It is not, again, built from the ground up. So keep that in mind while you are playing this.
Help me! Stop! We didn't do anything!
Okay. So it's real and not real, if that makes sense. But that's okay.
There's nothing else you can do here.
Now, I want to talk about the first gun that we get, which is the pistol. I believe that every single weapon in Half-Life 2 VR has been redone for this mod specifically, because the original weapons would not actually interact like this. So I just want to tell the dev team, great job. You did amazing. They worked really well and really stuck to the source material, and you guys did a great job. And another thing that I like is that the dev team brought a regular mechanic that we would see in Half-Life Alyx to Half-Life 2 VR, which is the reloading from your back. So you grab a clip from your back, just like you would in Half-Life Alyx, and then you can reload, and that is great. I don't see why they would try and change it up in any way, shape, or form, and they didn't. They stuck to the, source material of Half-Life Alyx, which is amazing. Now, there are two issues that I have. They're just minor critiques. I don't like that I can't grab my pistol with two hands, and I don't like that I have to use the trigger button on my left hand to redo the slide or release the slide, because I would think that you would want to do a grab to pull the slide back and then release it, but hey, that's just me. And I do want to say here a little bit earlier, obviously we haven't seen any other weapons, but I feel like in Half-Life 2 VR, I actually need to use different weapons rather than in Half-Life Alyx. Unless I was forced to, I felt like I could do anything with the pistol and it really wouldn't matter. So for me, that's definitely a plus and definitely kind of forces me to utilize a little bit more of the game, and I like that. I enjoy that. Now, I want to talk about the Manhacks. Essentially, these are flying drones that have blades on them. Super easy to get rid of. However, in Half-Life Alyx, they were a lot easier to get rid of with my pistol, and I made the mistake of starting with my pistol thinking it was going to be the best way to do it. No, the crowbar is the best way, and again, this brings me back to the fact that I have to essentially use different weapons to get the job done, because it's kind of required, at least as far as I can see it. So that being said, I just wanted to, really highlight that, my first interaction with kind of being forced to use different weapons than, the old reliable pistol. Now, we've arrived at one of the main resistance strongholds, and we're told that we are to be given the airboat, and we are pretty much on the way still to go see Eli and Alex at Eli's facility at the water treatment plant. Now, from here, the Combine actually shells us, which requires me to start using my SMG, and I must say, the SMG feels so good to use with two hands. It feels natural and feels like it's something that would be, in real life, how you would grab it, how you would hold it, and how it just feels to shoot in game. After we get the airboat, I'm absolutely blown away by how it feels. It just feels so natural, and is probably the best vehicle I've ever driven in Half-Life with these controls.
Oh, this is freaking sick, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. Let's hit the sick jumps. Swoop.
Minus the sick jumps that we obviously are hitting, this just feels more natural than anything I've ever driven in a game. Although I'm still using my controller and playing with a joystick, it is absolutely phenomenal feeling just driving this around. And when we get to the point where we obtain the mounted machine gun, it feels like that, the way that you control it is how it should be.
There we are. That gun came off one of the same hunter choppers that you're up against. I always like to bring a little iron. Take that chopper down.
Doesn't feel like there should be any other way to control your mounted turret that's attached to your boat when you get it than how it is. It feels like an old arcade shooter that you play at like a game center or an arcade, where you would go in and they'd have a little fake pistol and you would, shoot at the screen, whether that be zombies or you're playing Time Crisis or something like that. And overall, just a great experience with the airboat. Near the end of your experience with the airboat, you do have to fight a chopper, and this was probably more enjoyable for me than any experience that I've had so far, because doing this on controller I felt was absolutely atrocious. But doing this in VR and just having the ability to really center in on how you're aiming just feels immaculate. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. It feels natural. It feels like I've done this before.
Okay.
So we finally arrive at Eli's lab and meet him again after he sent us off in the original game to try and take care of the Residence Cascade. Now, here I actually notice that this potato-looking jar kind of reminds me of the portal to Gladys, and kind of threw me off, but definitely one of the fun Easter eggs. Now, after we kind of go through this sequence, we get our first look at the gravity gun, which is an amazing experience in virtual reality, and I feel like I've used it more since I've played Half-Life 2 VR than I did when I played on Xbox 360 with a controller.
Oh, Dr. Freeman, you should stay with Eli. Go on, I'll rejoin you shortly.
Very suspicious.
Now, we're about to get the gravity gun so I can kind of show you guys what it's like, but the control scheme overall is actually really well done. You use B to grab and trigger to shoot objects away. So, really, really good, and I think overall it, again, feels better than any console would for doing this stacking, no less. It just feels natural. It feels like this is your day job for the most part. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, please, before you leave, definitely make sure to hit that like button. And I want to talk about this last part, which is Ravenholm. Now, we've entered Ravenholm because, as of right now, Eli Vance's lab was shelled by the Combine with headcrabs, and we were separated from Alex in a collapse. Now, entering this area of the game is essentially the equivalent of Jeff in Half-Life Alyx. This is the horror part. And if you can't tell by the music, back in 2007 when I played this, when I was 13, I felt sincere fear and dread when I heard this and started experiencing the headcrab zombies in this, area here. Now, this did, however, get me ready for Dead Space that released in 2008, which, again, I really am glad that I played this game because I would have missed out on Dead Space if I didn't. Now, usually when I come to Ravenholm, or at least when I did, back in the day, I really just used all my weapons besides the gravity gun because it didn't feel good. These saw blades are immensely powerful with the gravity gun and will just cut and slice through anything. But on console, I didn't feel like I could do a lot with a thumbstick and aim. But when it comes to VR, and this may sound very weird, I feel like I am cheating with how accurate I can become with a lot of this equipment. So this gravity gun is my go-to for Ravenholm in the beginning, unlike it was when I played on console. So do keep that in mind. And if you do decide to play this, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to have a great time. My first impression of this is a AAA experience. This is on par, in my eyes, with Half-Life Alyx. Maybe you're not getting that visual fidelity where it's, super high-res graphics and all that, but this feels like a AAA game that I can't emphasize enough is just an amazing experience in VR, and I highly recommend for anybody that has PC VR to play. Now, that being said, this is the end. Definitely make sure to hit that like on your way out. Share it with your friends if you thought it was informative and you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get back to you. I will make it my top priority. So that being said, I do want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. My name's Butter Something, and I'll see you in the next video.